I am Helen Miles. I'm the academic coordinator for teaching, learning, and assessment here in Mobile County Public School System.
Okay, and I know Ms. Miles is a very busy woman here in the school system. So what we're going to do, we're going to get right down to the questions and start from there. First question: how does the director maintain an integrated curriculum, both horizontally and vertically aligned, that engages all students in rigorous, relevant academic challenges?
Okay, well, first, as the leader, my major job is to organize our teams. So we have several people that are leading in our in teaching, learning, and assessment. So what we do is we work together with our teachers to ensure that the curriculum stays aligned. For each content area, we bring in teachers to help us to pull everything together. So during the summer, they review our content, they review the pacing guides, and they make the proper changes to make sure that we stay current, relevant, and that our curriculum is rigorous.
Okay. So Ms. Miles, is this something that's done yearly?
Yes,
Okay.
each year. So we'll start in May and we'll finish up the end of June.
Okay. Well, that goes into the second question. How does the director or administrator leads and motivates teachers to adhere to the prescribed state standards? Um, what are the teachers' perception of both curriculum, director and administrators working toward a common goal?
Okay, for us, we try to meet weekly, and I meet with my team so that we're asking them what are the needs in our schools. And at that point, they try to pull together professional development to meet the needs of the teachers. In providing that professional development, we encourage them to build relationships with their teachers. And through those relationships, they're able to find out what the teachers' needs are. They provide modeling experiences in the schools with the teachers and try to provide side by side experiences as well. So by providing those opportunities to the teachers, I believe that we have positive experiences with our teachers out there. So I think that the responses that we'll get right now will be mostly positive.
Okay. That falls into the next question. Are teachers involved in any curriculum decisions or feedback?
Yes, they are. They help us decide on what curriculum we select, such as our textbooks. We are in the middle of our ELA textbook process now, so we have teachers on board. They are part of all of our committees, and of course, they are with us in the summer when we're providing and creating our pacing.
All right. How does the director or administrator access instructional programs, activities, and materials?
Well, right now we look at our tests, see what the results are, not just the state tests, but we also do diagnostic tests. And when those diagnostic results come in, we review them and then we try to meet back with the teachers and with the principals. Such as we had a growth measure with math, and we met with every principal to find out we discussed the results and what the needs were in the schools. So we come back to the table and provide them with any professional development, any modeling that needs to happen in the school, and any assistance that's needed to make sure that the implementation goes smoothly.
Okay. Um, let me skip down. How has the infusion of technology into the classroom impacted the curriculum in your classroom, school, or district?
Well, that has been a big thing for us because now we're one to one in the district. So for us, we've had to change a lot of things as far as the curriculum is concerned because we needed to make sure that it was something that our teachers could use, that the curriculum that we were providing was something that they could use in a blended classroom. So we've had to provide more professional development on blended learning as well as create lessons that the teachers could use in order to um, make that more accessible to the students and to the teachers.
Okay. Has technology and the transition to online slash virtual learning been a catalyst for a curriculum change?
Yes, we've made several changes since then, trying to make sure that all of our team members have been have been a part of professional development and that they keep up with the changes. So that has been something that we've had to make sure that everyone goes through the professional development when during the shutdown, to make sure that everyone was ready to provide assistance with Schoology and all of those new programs that we had to put out there. We also had to be trained.
Okay.
So that was one of the things that had to happen. So our team has to be trained as well as the teachers.
Okay. Last two questions.
Hmm.
What's the greatest difficulty of your position?
I think that's the same as with any administrator is hiring the right people, making sure that your staff is trained and ready to provide any assistance to those in the school. So for us, it is making sure that we can hire people who are ready to get out there and do the things that we need to do. Um, just getting the staff that we need. So we have positions that we need to fill now.
Okay.
So we're excited about the things that we're doing, but we're always in need of getting more people on board.
All right. And the last question. What factors interfere with achieving your goals as a director?
I think that one factor that you just asked me about is just making sure that I have the right people out there. Right now, I have a great team, and as long as your team is out there and they're building those relationships with the teachers, you can be successful. It's always having the right people on your team, and I just need to get more people on my team.
Okay.
So that is a problem right now. So we're constantly trying to get more people on my team.
Ms. Miles, it was great having you. Are there any other comments or
Uh,
questions you have of me?
no, really, I just enjoy what I do, and mhm.
Good morning, you all. Today I have Miss Johnny Williams. She's the principal here at Booker T. Washington Middle School, and I'll let her introduce herself.
My name is Johnny Williams. I have been with Mobile County Public School System for many years. I started actually with the Archdiocese in 1993, teaching at McGill Tulane, where I taught ninth and 12th grade. And then I moved to Mobile County 2 years later. I started at BC Rain High School, where I taught ninth and 12th grade for many years, like a decade. And then I moved to Baker High School. There I earned um, my instructional specialist certification and moved back to BC Rain and serviced that community at Pillins Middle School and BC Rain for 5 years. And then I was moved to central office where I served as an English language arts supervisor for the county. And then 6 years later, I moved to Williamson Middle School, High School as the assistant principal. And then 2 years later, I became the principal of Booker T. Washington Middle School, where I now work.
Okay, today, Ms. Williams, I'll be asking you questions
Okay.
concerning curriculum and curriculum development.
Okay.
So let's get to it.
All right.
The first question: how does the principal maintain an integrated curriculum by both horizontally and vertically aligned that are horizontal and vertically aligned?
Okay.
I done messed that up.
That's okay.
We're gonna
That's
keep going.
That's right. We're going to keep going. Well, one of the things is just to keep teachers involved in curriculum itself. And so outside of that individual impact that teachers are having, you want to keep them in a community. So you want to do things like having data meetings. You want to have grade level meetings. You want to have content level meetings so that your sixth, seventh, and eighth grade English teacher or science teacher can come together and have those conversations even outside of that seventh and sixth grade setting so that they can see how what they're doing in the classroom realistically leads to the next level. And so it gives teachers an idea of planning. So if I'm the seventh grade teacher and I know my sixth grade teacher never gets to this concept, then I know I need to start front loading that immediately as a seventh grade teacher. And so it starts to inform them. And of course, it makes them a part of the curriculum aspect of the school.
Okay, with that statement, it's leading into the next question. Are teachers involved in any curriculum decisions or feedback?
Yes. So at the district level, well, actually, we can back up a little bit because even at the state level, when the State Department gets ready to create a new course of study, they involve the entire state. So they choose teachers from each district to come in and do that. So once that's created, even after that, they have what's called a public forum. They put up the course of study, teachers, parents, everyone can comment on it. And so then they bring all of these statements together. They have a forum of teachers that they have selected who will look at this and then make decisions about whether something needs to be changed or addressed before it's officially voted on. So that's the state level. So then when you go to countywide, the same thing happens. So obviously, um, the district is taking what's been given to them from the state, and they have the idea or the challenge to make sure that that's going to fit within our goals and parameters for our district. And so again, teachers are selected, and so it's the idea of the district to try to get a very heterogeneous population of teachers. So you're trying to think about your city schools, your high performing schools, to get all those teachers involved so that they have a voice in the curriculum. So then you create those grade level curriculums for those district schools to then manipulate. So teachers are involved. And so even after that, it goes out and teachers have an opportunity to look at it, and whether through survey or coming back in through meetings to actually address and talk about what they see before that next school year begins. So,
Okay.
yes.
Okay, as an administrator,
Mm-hmm.
how do you go about picking your instructional programs, activities, and materials?
Okay. So, well, as a principal, you do have you're under the leadership of the district. So you do have those parameters that are non-negotiables. So if our district, for instance, now has a huge push for mathematics, and we have a new mathematics program, so every teacher has that expectation to learn it, know it, and implement it. And obviously, as the principal, that's my job too, is to make sure our teachers are comfortable, that they understand the program, and that they're using it to fidelity so that we're all on the same page. But we also have our electives. We have these outliers that we can choose these particular programs for. So as a principal, I'm looking at our district initiatives, thinking about how my electives, how art and band, our STEM classes can all fuel from what we have to do in order to support those teachers. So that's how I would make a decision based on the data and based on our district initiatives.
Okay. Next question.
Mm-hmm.
What diagnostic tools
Mm-hmm.
do we use here at Booker T to gauge or get a to to collect data on our students?
So we use iReady reading to fuel our literacy perspectives. We use HMH for our mathematics, and just even outside of making sure that we're testing our students 3 times a year at least for the reading and the mathematics so that we can see growth and change in them. You have things like your grade level distribution from the year before in order to see if there's a particular problem in 6th grade, 7th grade, or 8th grade, how many students are being retained and why, so that it can feed what you do for next year, whether it's teacher selection, um, what teacher serves on a particular grade level. You also are thinking about um, your teachers and talking to them about particular programs and ideas. Um, that's why those grade level and data meetings are so important. And so they're looking at the data, and then you're listening to what they're saying, and they become a data point for you too. So it's not just numbers, it's what a teacher is seeing in real life looking at their students in order to inform you about your instructional decisions as well.
Okay. Next question.
Okay.
How has technology, the infusion of technology, um, impacted the curriculum in the school?
Well, anytime you introduce something new, it's going to take time. And so you'll have those teachers, because of their particular personality or passion, is going to latch on to technology naturally. Do what you're asking them to do. Get in there, play with it, take risks. so that they, can naturally infuse technology in a way that it's conducive to learning. And of course, you have those set of teachers who will push back. They're not comfortable with technology. And so that's when a lot of professional development comes into play, making sure that you're giving them the time and space to grow. Everybody's not going to move at the same pace. So you have to just be cognizant of that in order to make sure that you have your own timeline to know these are my fast movers, these are my high flyers, and this is my set of teachers who, for whatever reason, need to be supported more. And of course, that's just the teacher side of it. You have parents who need to learn about the technology, students who need to learn about the technology, the administrative staff has to learn about the technology. And so you have this conglomerate of different aspects that are on this page that you have to try to manipulate. So it's not easy, but you just have to be consistent, have a plan, and make sure that you're paying attention to what's happening so that you can react to it.
Okay. Next question. Has technology and the transition to online virtual learning been a catalyst for curriculum change?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, yeah. So, obviously, when you introduce a technological platform, the way that we teach is going to have to change. And so now, of course, now that we're one on one, having the teacher to think about when we were virtual last year, everything was done on this computer screen and I was separate from them. Now that we're one to one back in the classroom, we're trying to do that 50-50, where you're using technology as a co teacher for you, not delivery, which was what we were 100% delivery. This is how I'm going to get into your home. Now that you're seated in front of me, that changes things drastically. And so if you have a teacher who's still approaching it as if we were at home again, that's when you get a total disconnect of a group of students sitting in the classroom looking at a laptop, not having teacher engagement. And of course that's an issue because then you don't have that student manipulation of it and understanding that can only come from a teacher. So that does pose a problem.
Okay. These are my last two questions.
All right.
um, you've been in education for a while. You're a woman of many hats. Um, what are some of the greatest difficulties of your position? Any position that you've held?
I think wherever you are, it's going to be making sure that the people around you share your vision, and that um, whether you're in the leadership role or the support role, it's very difficult to figure out who's on your team. And as the leader of the project or school or wherever you are, you just have to be very consistent about the vision and making sure that you are communicating it. Because a lot of the times you think you're saying it and you're not. Like, because you have a clear understanding, it doesn't mean that you're communicating it clearly. So it's not sometimes that people just don't want to support you. You haven't given them the means and the know-how to support you.
Okay.
And so that becomes, just a moment for you to take in to say, okay, I want all these people to do these things, but it's not happening. And I have to be reflective to figure out why.
Okay. Last question. What factors interfere with you achieving your goals and objectives for Booker T. Washington Middle School?
I think again it will go into buy-in.
Oh.
I mean, one of the main things that I talk about is making sure that we are changing our culture and perception of our school, so that not just an outsider looking at us in a particular way, that we have, or we are now looking at ourselves in a particular way, and to take away that hat of inner city poor, this low socioeconomic group of students who cannot achieve, to know and understand what we can do. And so that buy-in, whether we believe it or not, is personal. As a teacher, as an administrator, I have to know that I have the power to walk into a classroom and change lives. And if I don't have that buy-in, it doesn't matter what the mission is, whatever it is that's printed on the paper. If you haven't internalized it, nothing much happens after that.
Okay. Ms. Williams, that's the end of this interview.
Oh, great.
I would like to thank you for taking your time out to come in.
Department chair.
Okay. How many years have you been teaching, Miss Lavender?
This year made 8.5.
8.5 years. Okay. And have all of them been in middle school?
All except for one. I did 1 year, my first year actually, as a teacher in Chickasaw in elementary.
Okay. Okay. Today we'll be doing my interview on curriculum. So let me go ahead on and begin. Um, First of all, I'll ask you, what's your perception of the curriculum director and administrator as they pass down curriculum to the school?
The curricular director is basically the person that comes up with the guide as how the curriculum will be brought by for your local schools. As far as the administration, they're the persons that are making sure that curriculum that the curriculum director has come up with is being brought forth in the local schools.
Okay. As a teacher, um, how are you involved in the curriculum decisions around the school?
I'm involved by being placed on each grade level and attending the content areas um, meetings that we have weekly to discuss things that are being brought by in the classroom.
Okay. Next question. Um, as a teacher, how do you measure your students' achievements in your class?
With me having sixth, seventh, and eighth grade, I have created a student data board in my room where I've measured reading and math performance from the fall and winter thus far. And I have stickers that determine whether the student has shown growth or have not shown growth.
Okay, then. So what are some tests that we use here at the school that measures a child's gains?
We have I Ready Reading here that each time they take it, which is 3 times per year, they take it in the fall, in the winter, in the spring. Each time they're taking it, it determines whether or not they've received gains from the previous one. And from the fall and the spring, it determines how much gain they have earned for the entire year. HMH is pretty much the same. You have a beginning, a middle, and an end assessment, and it also determines the same as the iReady, how much they've gained each time they've taken it.
Okay. Next question. How has the infusion of technology impacted your classroom as it relates to curriculum?
It's impacted my classroom, being that I do have students that are significantly below grade level. With majority, or I say 85% of my students are learn better through technology. So using the technology has helped somewhat with the gains of our students in the reading and math because they're visually seeing things versus just putting it on pencil and paper.
Okay. Okay. Um, Next, final two questions. What's the greatest difficulty of your position?
My greatest difficulty would be um, basically just having certain resources that has that gap. I have students that are, now they're in sixth, seventh, and eighth grade, and they're like 5 and 6 grade levels below. So I'm having to go back to kindergarten and first grade. So, just trying to integrate phonics into grade level content has been really like my most difficult point of my job.
Okay. Last question. What factors interfere with you achieving your goals and objectives?
This year, I would say my factor would be that's interrupting would be the fact that I don't have much assistant as far as like me being the only person that's in the building trying to handle sixth, seventh, and eighth grade with a mixture of about close to 80 students. That would be my only one that I'd say that I don't have that third person that's needed in the building to help me to be successful.
Okay. Thank you, Miss Lavender. It was nice and a pleasure interviewing you. And until next time, thanks.